right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Ohio Statewide Family Engagement Leadership Summit. We're glad that you could join us on this day of professional learning meant to take family, school, community partnership to the next level. My name is Becky Barenbaum, and I will be this session's moderator. This session is session 18, Resources for Engaging Families with Students with Disabilities. If you have any questions, concerns, or technical issues, please message me privately in the chat. To ensure that all participants get the most out of today, we ask that all participants turn off their webcams and microphones. If you have any questions for the presenter, please use the chat feature, and I will pass them along at the end of the presentation when we do our Q&A. You can also join the conversation on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Breakthrough22 to share your thoughts. Also, this is our last session of the day, so we want to thank you for spending your day at the Ohio Family Engagement Leadership Summit. While we hope you can take some knowledge from today and apply it to your work tomorrow, the learning doesn't stop here. Be sure to be on the lookout for emails from the Ohio Statewide Family Engagement Center for follow-up opportunities to the summit. To ensure that we have met your needs and follow up appropriately, please take our survey at go.osu.edu/summit survey, and I'll put that link in the chat soon. And thank you again for attending today, and stay connected. So without any further ado, I will allow Gwen to introduce herself.
Thank you, Becky. Good afternoon, everyone. I really appreciate you all joining me after this wonderful conference, and I know it's Friday afternoon, so I'll try and be as brief as I can. I am so excited to be here and to be participating in this conference, a conference that's all about finding opportunities to break through barriers to form authentic and impactful partnerships between families and professionals. And as we all know, when families are engaged, the partnerships that are created help children grow and thrive. So important. My name is Gwen Harshaw, and I work for OCALI, the Ohio Center for Autism and Low Incidence. I am the program director of the Family and Community Outreach Center. And the name OCALI is a bit of a misnomer, but it really reflects our growth over the years. Although Ohio is the first word in our name, our influence spreads throughout the United States and even internationally. And although autism is also featured prominently in our name, our mission is to support families dealing with all disabilities. That is where the low incidence term comes in. And if you check out the IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, they actually define low incidence disabilities as any impairment that represents no more than 1% of the whole school-age population. And that can include a variety, just about all disabilities. It includes those with hearing impairment, visual impairment, multiple disabilities, traumatic brain injury, orthopedic disability, and even significant cognitive impairment. So even with our unusual name, you can see that we've been dedicated to serving all disabilities really from the start. So during our time together, I want to give you an overview of everything that OCALI does. I want to talk about our centers and our resources and how we can use that to equip and engage families. And I hope we both learn something more. And I'm looking forward to the question and answer session at the end. I'm going to start out talking about our vision and mission and what we do. Our vision here at OCALI is that people with disabilities should have the opportunity to live their best lives. And we do that by inspiring change and promoting access to opportunities for people with disabilities. And we do that by informing public policy, developing and deploying practices that are grounded in linking research to real life. The hallmark of our work revolves around three key components: partnerships, policies, and practice. We leverage our partnerships and network to facilitate change. We like to influence and impact policies and how they are made. We also analyze research and convert it into applicable, easy to understand practices so that others can flourish and feel empowered and hopefully engaged. We're guided by the belief that people with disabilities have value, worth, and dignity. And that belief is what determines our trajectory as an organization that is committed to inspiring change and promoting access. Now, a lot of people hear about our centers and will get calls and they want to enroll someone in our centers, but we're really not a direct service provider. We are a clearinghouse for information and resources, along with evidence-based strategies for those who care for and support people with disabilities, including educators, professionals, and of course, families. I'm going to go into a little more detail about our centers and resources because we're very, very proud of that. We're actually home to 10 distinct centers and 3 world-class online learning portals. And all of the centers and all of the portals are interconnected in various ways. Our mission is supported through the innovative work of these centers. And the organization of the centers helps us focus our efforts in specific areas to meet the many needs of our community. I want to start with the Autism Center. The Autism Center works to build the capacity of school districts and other education agencies to improve their instruction and support for individuals with autism by providing evidence-based training, technical assistance, and consultation that equips professionals to meet individual student needs. The Center for the Young Child promotes a strong start for young children, starting in infancy to age 8. And they do that by informing policy, creating and sharing resources, and providing training and technical assistance. The Family and Community Outreach Center, my personal favorite, equips and empowers families with knowledge, information, and resources to support the whole family, including the person with the disability, obviously. Our Lifespan Transition Center works to equip communities to support the successful and unique transition of individuals with disabilities by being agency neutral, outcome focused, and person-centered in offering resources, training, and technical assistance. Our Teaching Diverse Learners Center works to ensure that learners with low incidence disabilities have access to equal and effective educational opportunities by providing professional development, consultation, coaching, and resources, of course, and those are for education agencies, programs, practitioners, and families. The Universal Design for Learning Center increases access and equity through purposeful planning that leads to meaningful instruction for all students by providing guidance on removing barriers and improving learning. And this is all based on scientific evidence about how people actually learn. The Outreach Center for Deafness and Blindness increases access, communication, and equity for learners who are deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired. We do this by connecting resources and providing training for professionals to support families and learners where they are, with what they need, when they need it to learn. Our Assistive Technology and Accessible Educational Materials Center, AT and AEM, ensures access for all people with disabilities to the right materials, technology, and training by creating and disseminating accessible materials and offering specialized training and technical support on how to use those materials. We're very proud of our Autism Certification Center, and that's where we house our ASD strategies in action, which are courses and evidence-based strategies that can be used in natural environments during the typical routines and activities of all ages, toddlers through adulthood. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. Our mission is also supported by these other centers, the Office of Policy, OCALICON, and O'Callie's Lending Library. The Office of Policy works to connect research, real life, and policy to ensure equity and access for people with disabilities. We work across public and private sectors to help inform decision makers, leading to practical and innovative policy ideas to help improve and enhance the lives of people with disabilities. OCALICON is our annual conference that brings together participants from around the world to learn, network, and share research, best practices, and resources to support the lifelong needs of people with disabilities. I'm also going to come back to that because we're very, very excited. O'Callie's Lending Library connects people with disabilities and those who support them with accessible materials, resources, and technology to promote lifelong learning. We offer Ohioans an extensive collection of free books, videos, assistive technology devices, assessment tools, and many other resources that are available to borrow and ship directly at no charge. It's absolutely free. Just to go into a little more detail about the Autism Center, they have a lot of resources. Our resource gallery is really full. I think you would be impressed with what you would see. It has interventions to support all learners, including downloadable templates and examples of specific interventions. The ASD tip of the month, or the Autism Spectrum Disorder tip of the month, provides brief discussions regarding the relevant topics and then the resources available related to that topic area. There have been many different subjects and topics. Some examples previously were about self-care, various supports for communication and behavior, and a lot of them would address that family engagement issue if you dig into it a little bit. We also have the Autism Internet modules, or AIM, which provide high quality information and professional development for anyone who supports, instructs, works with, or lives with someone with autism. It was developed with partners from across the country. It consists of self-paced modules that guide users through case studies, instructional videos, and assessments. I'm revisiting the Assistive Technology and Accessible Educational Materials Center because it's so important. And I just wanted to give a little bit more details about it because they are definitely dedicated to accessibility. And accessibility is a key to unlocking potential in everybody's life. The accessible educational materials are print and technology-based educational materials that are designed or enhanced in a way that makes them usable across the widest range of learner variability. Some of the resources that are listed here are the Student Inventory for Technology Supports, or SIFs. That consists of a web-based survey tool that's developed primarily to support IEP teams who need assistance in matching student needs and the strengths for the AT features. It is an assessment that requires teams to match the student needs to those features before making that final device selection. So it's important. There's also the Assistive Technology Internet modules, or ATIM. Those are designed to provide high quality information and professional development on assistive technology, or AT. That's for educators, professionals, families, persons with disabilities, and just about everyone else where it's needed. Each module guides you through case studies, instructional videos, pre and post assessments, a glossary, and much more. And those ATIM modules are available at no cost. Finally, we have the AT Lending Library, which is similar to our other general lending library. It provides school districts with an opportunity to try out AT devices before they purchase. The devices are sent free of charge via UPS to the school district. They are provided on a short-term loan, 3 weeks, during which time the district can try out the device with the student and gather data on the student's success with that device. There are hundreds of items available to support students in reading, writing, math, organization, communication, vision, and hearing. Right. I'm revisiting the Lifespan Transition Center, and basically they're there for individuals when they hit that transition age, which is so important. School is incredibly important, but there is often life after school, and we want to address that. The Lifespan Transition Center works to equip communities to support the successful and unique transition of individuals with disabilities to ensure they can live their best lives for their whole life. At O'Calley, we are invested in supporting individuals with disabilities, like I said, in school and beyond. And there are a variety of resources. The Take 5 webinars, where you can learn about essential topics for transition and adulthood and engage in new ideas as well. They are webcasts, and each short video in the Take 5 series will review a topic, concept, or idea about transition and adult planning. They also provide takeaway resources for each of the webcasts to help extend learning and support implementation. There's a Transition to Adult Guidelines series, Transition Planning in the IEP. This explores how to approach transition planning using the elements of the IEP transition planning process. It helps create a way of thinking that aligns with the IEP process, but also remains true to person-centered planning, which is so important. We also have the What Works for Work, and that's an evidence-based practice for transition youth, and it helps develop skills for employment. O'Calley has partnered with the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council to introduce these evidence-based practices and incorporate them into academic, vocational, and social preparation for those transitional youth. Finally, we have The Journey, and that was created through a partnership with the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities, as well as the County Board of Developmental Disabilities. It's a webinar series that helps families plan for that transition process. Various topics are covered, like supporting positive behaviors, self-determination, transition assessment, and assisted technology. I'm also very proud to announce our newest center, the Multi-System Navigation Center. This center works to help individuals and families navigate multiple partners, resources, agencies, and getting the resources and tools needed for success in life. We wanted to develop a center that addresses families that are dealing with multiple disabilities or diagnoses and help them navigate the complex and sometimes overwhelming process of obtaining the support they need. O'Calley has regional coaches throughout the state to provide an additional layer of support for families dealing with those multiple conditions. Back to my Family and Community Outreach Center. With the Family Center, we want to equip and empower families to support the entire family. We want to connect those families to information and resources. We want to raise awareness and acceptance in the community about disabilities and people dealing with disabilities. And there's a lot of cross-center collaboration to enhance family engagement. We want to ensure that people with disabilities and their families have access to meaningful experiences in the community. We do this by connecting families with all sorts of information and resources, like I said. We have online tools, video series, downloadable guides, booklets, links to various state systems of support, including the Department of Developmental Disabilities, the ODD, the Ohio Department of Education, ODE, the Ohio Department of Health, Ohio Family and Children First, Ohio Department of Medicaid, state support teams, and opportunities for Ohioans with disabilities, or OOD. So quite a few, and there's even more than that. And one of my personal philosophies with the Family Center is to expand our definition of accessibility. I want to increase access to all aspects of life, physical, social, emotional, and spiritual among them. By creating novel and unique programs, we're able to enhance socialization for individuals with disabilities. And the Family Center has a number of programs. You may have heard of Hospitality Listens, which we've been doing for a number of years. Unfortunately, we had to stop during the pandemic, but we're at work trying to bring it back. But basically, it's an event where families can go and enjoy a dinner out. But we do it in partnership with Ohio State, and it focuses on customizing the experience for families so that all members can enjoy quality family time. This effort also provides an opportunity for students and the staff from the Ohio State University College of Education and Human Ecology and Hospitality Management program to learn about the needs of these families through focus groups prior to the event and through the interactions at the event. The event is an amazing opportunity for students to learn hospitality through a very unique lens. It increases awareness, understanding, and acceptance in future industry leaders. Something else we're very excited about, we just brought it back after the pandemic, was the Ohio State Fair Sensory Friendly Day. And that was a day at the Ohio State Fair. We partnered with the fair and the expo center where we were able to turn down the lights, turn down the music, so people with sensory issues and other issues could enjoy the Ohio State Fair like everybody else. We also had a quiet room that was available throughout the entire run of the fair where people who have sensory issues could go and, decompress and just relax a little bit so they can go back out and enjoy the fair like everybody else. And it was an incredible success. And they started in 2019. We had to take a break because of the pandemic, but we brought it back this last August, and we're really excited for planning for 2023. That brings me to our newest program, which is Band Together Central Ohio. And this is really personal for me. It's a monthly autism open mic. And even though we term it autism, it's available to everyone with disabilities. It's really available to anyone. And it's an opportunity for individuals to get up and perform. And it doesn't have to be music. Most of it is music, but it can be a poem or a speech. And even though the basis or the foundation is music, the goal is socialization and inclusion. And that's something that is very difficult and a problem in the disability community. I mean, we all know loneliness is significantly related to health and well-being. And there have even been recent studies where they have noticed a definite change in brain structure from people who have sustained loneliness. So they're still researching it, but it's really something we need to be concerned about. And I think the society as a whole is paying more attention since the pandemic. And we want to address that. And that is so huge among the disability community, but you have to be innovative and novel with that. So, and we've actually based this on a program that's already been developed in Pittsburgh. The reason it's so personal for me, I have an adult son with autism who had an interest in music. And when he was younger, actually underage, we would take him to open mics. And they were wonderful, but they're always in bars, and that's not appropriate for everyone's situation. So the one in Pittsburgh has gone on for 5 years, and it's developed into so many different groups and programs, and we're just excited. We started, as you can see from the slide, on August 14th. We've had 2 of them, and it's really, really successful, and people love it. So we're really excited to see what's going to happen with that. We're also excited about OcaliCon. I mentioned that earlier. That's our annual conference. It is the premier autism and disabilities conference where thousands of people from around the world come together to learn, network, share research, best practices, and resources to support the lifelong needs of individuals with disabilities. This year will mark our 16th anniversary, and we are so excited to celebrate over a decade of transforming inspiration into action. This year it is exclusively online, but registration includes full access to both live and on-demand content. We feel OcaliCon addresses every age, every milestone, from early childhood to school age to adulthood. And we come together to learn, network, and share those that research, and to support the lifelong needs of individuals with disabilities. We partner with other agencies. Here at Ocali, we like to connect the dots by collaborating with a wide range of partners, from state agencies to national organizations, local systems of support, grassroots organizations, all with the shared goal of sharing high quality information, showcasing the latest research, and fostering innovation. We feel it truly takes a village, a global village. Although we're located in Columbus, Ohio, our reach is far and wide. Since 2007, our community has crossed geographical and national boundaries as we've welcomed thousands of participants from all 50 states and 19 countries. And this year, we already have more than 15,000 registrants. Just to illustrate that reach, where else can you connect with a paraprofessional in Ohio, an educator in Scotland, service providers in California and Nigeria, and self-advocates in South Africa and Alaska? I don't know. If you have an answer for that, let me know, but I can't imagine. Although we're very proud to be here in Ohio, and we love partnering with the Ohio State University, and we love the Buckeyes, OHIO, we don't just convene just Ohioans or just Americans. We convene with the world, and we're very proud of that. I've already covered quite a few resources, but there's a lot. So I wanted to go over and touch a few others before we leave. So let me pull those up. We have a number of resource galleries. This one focuses on the one from the Family Center, with my personal favorite, but we have them throughout our website. You can find such a variety. We have parent guides, and we have quick tips. So if you don't have a lot of time, you can go into that and find out quick tips. We have all kinds of templates and information. We have information about Ohio's system of supports. Of course, there's the lending library, and we have workshops and webinars that we will have those live, but then we record them like we're doing here today, and they'll be available in our resource gallery. In everything we do, we're striving to connect a community of people, from educators, service providers, parents, families, and people with disabilities, community leaders, policymakers, and more. And like many of you, we had to reorganize and recalibrate the ways we dispense this information in the spring of 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. So we began to offer a lot more virtual options. And some examples of that are our hashtag Here to Help and our Inspire Ed virtual learning series. Our hashtag Here to Help offers tips, ideas, resources, and strategies to support families again, but also caregivers, professionals, and educators. And you see that website, please feel free to look into it. And it's very quick. It's 4 minutes, but it has a plethora of information. This campaign was designed for families and caregivers and everyone else, and we share resources of the latest information from our state partners and government. We help get people connected by providing opportunities to receive information in different ways, including newsletters, social media, and podcasts. And most importantly, we want everyone to feel supported with access to these free resources, tools, and information to support learning. Another virtual offer we had was the Inspire Ed virtual learning series. O'Callaghan partnered with the Ohio Department of Education to launch this Inspire Ed virtual learning series. Each session provides experience, tools, and resources that can effectively help educators, administrators, and families find the information and resources they need to support learning and successful outcomes for their students or children. Many topics have been covered, including we had one a few months ago titled Building Strong Family School Partnerships with our very own Dr. Barbara Boone. And we discussed a lot of different topics, from that to supporting positive behaviors, transition, increasing accessibility for all learners, and of course, supporting professional and family well-being, which definitely fits under family engagement. We want to continue equipping families, and we're very proud to talk about ASD strategies in action. It's an online video-based instruction. It's practical and it has practical and strategy-based information, real-life examples filled in a variety of settings, and it starts with an introductory course followed by 3 age-based courses, and it's free to all Ohioans. So it's for anyone who lives with, loves, or supports someone on the autism spectrum, especially families and direct service providers. O'Callaghan actually launched this in 2015, and the training offers 4 courses, starting with a course that will introduce you to the characteristics of the autism spectrum disorder and offer simple strategies. After completing the introductory course, you will be able to access the 3 age-based course highlighting evidence-based strategies that can be used in natural environments during typical routines and activities of individuals of all ages. The course is self-paced, accessible anytime, and like I said before, it's free for anyone in Ohio. The introductory class with that is called The Many Faces of Autism. And it's only an hour and a half long. It discusses characteristics of social communication of people with ASD, the restricted interests and patterns of behavior, sensory issues, cognitive and information processing, and emotional regulation. And it's free again. And whether you're a parent, grandparent, neighbor, coworker, teacher, bus driver, or librarian, you will find valuable insights and information in this hour and a half course. It also serves as a prerequisite to the other courses. And like I said, it uses the interests of the person with ASD. It helps you help them prepare for what's coming up next. It uses visuals. it provides time constraints, and they use speaking simply and clearly to make the learning so effective. So you can go to that autismcertificationcenter.org. I think Becky's going to share that in the chat. And I think you'll be very impressed. And I use this all the time. For people who are not familiar with ASD, it is such a powerful learning tool. And it's very, very popular. So I just touched the surface of our resources. There's so many. But I really hope you guys are inspired to check out our resources. You can register for our webinars, our online courses, and of course, our conference. You can sign up for our monthly newsletter, Ocali Now. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We're all over social media. So are there any questions? I look forward to learning from you, and I hope we can support all of you in this quest for family engagement. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Gwen. It was so wonderful to hear about all the important work that Ocali is doing. So like you said, we do have some time for question and answers. So if you haven't yet, you can go ahead and type your question into the chat, and I'll be sure to direct those questions to Gwen. So the first question I saw was from Tina. She's having a transition fair in April through Columbus City School, and she was wondering if there's anything that she can pass out to families.
Absolutely. She can email me. She can give us a call. Our Transition Center has a plethora of information regarding that, and we'd love to partner with that. So I don't know if everybody got my email down. If you want to put my email address back in the chat.
I'll put that in the chat for you. Yeah.
That's what we do.
Great. Okay. Let's see. Question from Monica. So she works in a parent support role at her school district. And she says that often when she refers parents to Ocali for resources, the first thing she hears is, well, my child is not autistic. And she always has to explain that Ocali covers the entire disability community. So she'd like to know, has Ocali ever considered a name change in spite of its widespread popularity and branding?
That is a great question. It's also a very popular question. That's been discussed a lot. The concern is with the branding, and it might be confusing. And but I mean, I hear her on that. Yeah, that. I mean, when I say we've considered it, it's been a constant thing of conversation. But we think the confusion of changing our name completely might overshadow that. But if she wants to have the people contact us, we will explain very energetically that we're there for everyone. And a lot of the issues that we address is cross disability. You know, the sensory issues, the other things, a lot of different disabilities share some of the same issues, so to speak.
Great. Great question. Rochelle asked, are these Ohio approved through OCC-RRA?
Some of the programs are, and some of them you can get credit for, not all of them. Since I'm over the family center, so we're more directed at lay people, although we support educators as well. But there are accreditations for some professionals, and just ask us the specific program and we'll let you know.
Great. Question from Avis. Do you have any locations in Cleveland, Ohio?
No, we really have technically one location in Glenmont, on Glenmont Avenue, which is in Clintonville. But like I said, we actually have international experience, and we actually, some of the people who work, they work remotely around the state. So and we do travel sometimes to present. So we want to be able to support people in Cleveland as well. So please don't hesitate to contact us.
Great. No, there aren't any more questions in the chat so far. Everyone feel free to add those as those come to mind. I was wondering if you could tell us, though, about Blue Spectrum. I believe that's your son's band. Is that right? Can we listen
Okay,
to his music?
I'm a proud mom, so I'm going to try not to go too long, but I think it's very relevant to some of the things I spoke to. So my son, he's 27 now. He's an adult, but he was diagnosed with autism when he was 4. And at the time, as you would assume, it was tough. We were told a lot of things he'd never be able to do. But one of the hallmarks that I remember, we were told he'd never be able to read. And he developed an interest in music early on. And I fully believe, I know I witnessed it, his interest in music and his ability to be able to work with that helped him read. Then I think that's a big part of family engagement, that when he was able to read about musicians, and that it just sparked something. And we're all kind of like that. If we can find our passion, our personhood, our soul, so to speak. And that's why I think it's so important, the arts and expanding when it comes to family engagement. I'm going to speak from a parent perspective. It can be so overwhelming when you get that diagnosis and you get so accustomed to hearing the negatives. Everything is focused on the negatives. And if a teacher or another professional can just identify positives, interests, strengths. My son had perfect pitch, and we had a wonderful school that he attended, but I will tell you, and he played in the band, but no one thought during all those years to just mention that, he seems to have a affinity for music. Now you don't know where it's going to lead, but just to give me that interest, because you can be so beat down by, what they can't do, or what's going to be a struggle. And I just think you would be a breath of fresh air for those parents who are just so overwhelmed. And we didn't see what was going to come, but my son is a musician now. He actually just released his first CD, and he plays solo. He plays all around town. He plays with his band, Blue Spectrum. Blue Spectrum started out as 4 kids on the spectrum in high school who just liked music. And we just thought it was an autism play date, and we had no idea. But my favorite part of this experience, I love the fact that he's able to play. That's great. But it's what it did for him personally, what it did for him socially, to be able to operate in that, to go to these open mics, get up and attempt to play. He was able to connect with the musicians. And that's what we're trying to do with Band Together. We just want to expand that socialization. It's so important. He is a different person because he's able to operate in his interests. And I want everyone to have that opportunity. But thank you for asking about Blue Spectrum.
That was great to hear about. All right. Yeah. So if there are no other questions, we could end on that nice positive note. I love to hear about it. So thank you, Gwen, for sharing your time and your knowledge with us today. So everyone, please join me in thanking Gwen in the chat. So this is our final session for the day. So please be sure to take our survey. So follow the link in the chat, go.osu.edu/summit survey. The surveys will be used to administer contact hours, so it's critical that you take the survey if you're seeking credit today. And remember to keep the conversation going on Twitter using the hashtag Breakthrough22, and visit ohiofamiliesengage.osu.edu/summit for all information about today's events. So again, thank you all so much. That link is in the chat again, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Have a great weekend, everybody.